What's up, City family? I hope everyone's well. While you're here, do me a favor, jump in those comments, greet somebody, say hello. What's up, City family? Be a good Southerner, love on your people, and drop a weekend takeaway for me while you're doing that. I just had something come to mind I'll mention in a second. Jump over there in those comments. Be nice, greet your people, greet your friends. Drop a weekend takeaway, not just something for the sermon. I don't need that to conflate my ego, but we're talking like it was an incredible, energetic, wild, impactful weekend. And just those moments, whatever it meant to you, however it touched you, share something in the comments, encourage somebody. I'm so excited. Share this, like. I was just thinking. I don't think I've had a chance to say publicly who the special guest was that we were bringing on for tonight, and it just dawned on me. City Church rolls Eastern Wayne deep, and to all of my City Church Eastern Wayne family, we got an alumni who's going to be joining me in the room tonight. This is going to be an incredible conversation. And you guys know me. I don't just bring anybody on. And just because you know me, you don't get to do all this stuff. But this was really important to me to be able to share this opportunity with you. Speaking of the Eastern Wayne, I'm sorry. Goldsboro High, we love you. Charles Bay Cock, we love you. Southern Wayne High, we are praying for you. I was at the subtle shade. I was at an Eastern Wayne ball game the other night, and one of my sisters who graduated with us, Eastern Wayne High School class of '99, she came into town with her family, and we saw one another, her and her family, and my wife, and I was talking to somebody, and it just dawned on me, like class of 1999, Eastern Wayne High School. Now, you can rep your class all you want in your comments. I'm just telling you right now. Class of 1999, Eastern Wayne High School, hands down, different. You understand? You understand? Just different. And seeing this sister, just over 40, still looking like she was in high school, there was just a favor and a blessing that was on class of 99. So, man, you guys jump in here. There's a lot going on. I'm not going to jump into all the city news. I hope you know what it is. So many opportunities for you to plug in this coming weekend. We have baptism the weekend following. We have our child and parent dedication. Uh, I mean, plug in anywhere, everywhere. Get in where you fit in. We got groups getting ready to kick off in the first part of October, fifth weekend in September. So everything's getting ready to explode. We have Coffee with a Candidate with Judge Erica James coming on September 21st. That's at 10 a.m. We have a comedy night coming late October. You're going to start getting information about that. Our good friend and brother Mike Goodwin, he is going to be in the room, and that's going to be phenomenal. Share, like, comment, engage. We're going to have a good time. So, as you guys know, in the month of August, we had 21 days of fasting and prayer. And in that time of fasting, we had a financial focus. We're minimizing all unnecessary expenses. We're looking over our resources. We're evaluating everything that God has given us. We had so many talks from real estate to insurance. And one of those conversations we wanted to make sure we made time for was the stock market. And many of our brothers and sisters do not engage with the stock market because of ignorance, and that is not a put down, it's just a lack of information and or exposure. And so we wanted to take a moment and to bring someone, not just anyone, but someone that I love and someone that I trust, who can give the city church and all of you a bit of a baseline of what the value that the stock market can bring. What is the stock market? The value it brings, the impact it can have on our lives. So, if nothing else, we no longer have to live in fear of the unknown. But we have someone who can share it with us in our language. And so I believe that you're going to be made better. Before we do that, can I share something with you really fast? I don't know if y'all have this anymore. This is a Bible. Most of us spend the most of our time on our electronic device. I'm in my office, had a Bible on the desk. I said, well, let's do what it do. And Matthew 25, beginning at verse 14, if you were to consider the parable of the talents, and in this parable of the talents, we see where this particular owner, he gave his servants talents as he was transitioning, and he gave 1 5, he gave 1 2, he gave 1 1, and as he went away, he was to return and to kind of require them to give an account for what they had. And there was one who doubled it, and another who doubled his. And then there was one who said, you kind of a harsh critic. I didn't want to play with your stuff, so I just hid it in the sand, so I knew it was going to be safe. And the Bible lets us know that this gentleman was reprimanded, he was rebuked, he was judged because he didn't multiply what was given him. When we talk about stewardship, we're talking about management. In many cases, we always see this text in the context of judgment or using our gifts, etc. But what if I told you that there was a responsibility and accountability for the resources, all of them? What are you doing with your breath? What are you doing with your health? But what if I told you there is also accountability that I believe is going to be had for us as believers? What did you do with the resources that I trusted into your hand? I could have sent this into the earth through anyone, but I trusted you. I sent this into the earth through you, and you squandered the resources that I placed in your hand. And so, while we're talking about multiplication and making good on everything that's been assigned to our hand, we're going to take an opportunity and have this conversation on the stock market. This is nothing more than a basic introduction. Making money moves. You're going to hear me say this multiple times because I listen, there ain't even no sense in you making a bad decision and trying to sue me, sue somebody else. We are having a general conversation. We are not professionals, et cetera, et cetera. General conversation. All right. So before you do anything, you consult your strategist or your financialist, whatever the case might be, your mama. Whatever you do it. We ain't that. We're just having a conversation. All right. I'm gonna get ready and bring in my friend, my brother. We go all the way back, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. East Wayne class of 1999. I want you to welcome our brother, Michael Smith, into the room. Mike, I appreciate you, man.
Yes, Pastor Jones, how you doing, brother?
I am wonderful, fam. Listen, Mike is presently just in the ATL area, but don't get it twisted. He is Goldsboro born and bred. I think were we in look at this, Nesbo. Cut that out, Jahari. Cut that out.
Jahari, how you doing?
Mike, I'm just thinking, man, were we in, who did you have for kindergarten? You remember? Did you have Jones? No, we weren't together in kindergarten, were we?
Yeah, it was Jones. Yeah, because we used to be sleeping on the mat in the back, and you never go to sleep. I'm like, Terry, take your behind to sleep, man.
Listen, Mike and I, we go all the way back to kindergarten, and we roll all the way up through our senior year in high school.
Absolutely.
Of course, we're making moves. We're going our different ways. And over the last few years, we reconnected. And that's my brother for life, man. So, Mike, take a minute if you don't mind, man. Introduce yourself and say what's up to our City Church fam.
Terry, first of all, City Church, I love y'all to death. Now, the devil, I was supposed to be down there in the flesh, but the hurricane or something came. Terry called me. I said, man, I got the car ready to go. I'm ready to go down there and meet y'all in the flesh because I want the connection. But I think
Yeah.
this may have been better. But before
Yes,
I
sir.
start, Terry, how do you still got a head full of hair, man? That's amazing. You see
It's
this?
natural.
Tell me that, man. 'Cause I'm
It's
like,
not. Look, it's natural juices and berries, man. Stay focused, Mike. Don't, don't do this to me tonight.
Terry, it feels so good to see you again, man, and have a conversation. And I just
For
want to
sure.
tell the church, you have been, a man of God your entire life, and that's truly humbling because, I've called you. I remember when I called you in Texas, just out the blue one night, I couldn't sleep and you prayed for me. And
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, I could not sleep. I was scared, and Terry was there for me after all these years, and he's been there for me. So
Yeah.
just to give you
Hey,
a little,
Mike,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna pause just 1 second. We got to take a minute and show some love. The Leanne Young Rayburn is in the comments. You remember
Okay.
Leanne who hooped with
Yes,
us in middle school?
yes,
She used
yes.
to, she used to give you the business at the community center.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Because I can remember we used to go hard all the time in the basketball. I ain't picked up a basketball in years now, but hey, it is what it is.
Leanne holds it down on the local police force, and she's an OG, man. But she's family just the same. I ain't mean to cut you off, man.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm not computer savvy, so I just hit the comments. Now I can see the comments, so I do apologize. But when I tell y'all how I got started, I guess it's a testimony for me. And I tell people like I was born and raised in Goldsboro, North Carolina, 1999. That's when everybody from East Wayne and Goldsboro too. We show love, Southern Wayne, like you said. And then we all went away to college, and everybody went their separate ways. And from time to time, we still conversate with each other. But I went to East Carolina. I graduated from East Carolina. Joined the military in 2005. Met my wife Tia Smith, who's my better half by every sense of my imagination.
Okay,
20.
let's pause. Let's pause right there for a second. You guys are getting ready to celebrate 20 years, right?
Absolutely, 20 years next year. 20 years of marriage. Yep,
So
yep.
she deserves mad love for putting up with you for 20 years, first of all. But while
Absolutely,
you
she
are
has.
out making business moves, you got a bit of a boss that you're married to yourself. Tell
Oh.
us really fast. Let us know kind of what your wife Tia does.
So Tia is a behavioral specialist fitness coach. She runs and operates several companies under her umbrella with fitness and wellness, and it's only exclusively for Black women. So no man allowed. Every now and then, I'm able to get up there and have conversation with her on her podcast. But she's been doing this uh, ever since really before our first child, and I have seen her grow and develop. And I know she probably said, "I wish I just sit still somewhere," but being in the military, we just moved everywhere. So about 14 years ago, I told her, I said, believe in me, I'm going to retire you. And she walked away from the corporate world, the corporate space, and she really went into the family. And if
Mhm.
she didn't do that, and that was one thing I can truly say that catapulted our family to financial success. And then all glory be to God. But you got to marry right. If you really truly want to be financially free, you got to have a good marriage.
Yes,
And
sir.
then and she is my best friend. So
I love
you about to make me tear up, Terry. God, no, Jesus Christ. Let's talk. Let's get to the stock market, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
you might should have let it flown just in case she watching.
Oh,
Hey, you better fabricate it here, my friend.
yeah, just she probably was like, hurry up and talk to Terry so she can get her office back. Because I always come in her office because she got everything nice and set up. She got the lights and stuff, and she was like, I thought you was going down there. I said, yeah, but things happen. But she
Yeah,
has truly been the backbone for my family and as well as this business as well.
yes, sir.
So
So you were in the military,
Yep.
and you transition from the military, and then this business kind of got going. Kind of give us that story.
So in 2017, we started the infrastructure of this business. So this business is Francis Smith and White are the last names of all my brothers on Tia's side and my side. So we came together as a family funding group to fund our family stuff. Like, so we have a family emergency, life limit, eyesight. We pulled our money together and we started investing into the stock market. In 2018, I almost died. So and that's how I got out of the military. I had blood clots. I collapsed. I woke up in the military, and just like that, everything, my life changed. In 60 days, I'm a civilian. Um, 3 kids, wife didn't work. Everything that I put in, it was the military was funding everything. So and I mean, I was probably at my worst in 2018. I moved to Georgia. Had to stay with her parents for a little bit till I got back on my feet. But the business was still there, and I saw the value of having something ownership that I was like, okay, you can't fire me. I can still do this, from any part of the globe. So we were just operating at that time out of Washington State, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina. So that taught me that said you got to have ownership, and that was the cornerstone of the family fitness and finance, which is the pillars of our business model. So when I came here, of course, you got to start from scratch. I had to get a job. By trade, I am a scientist. Now I consult. I run about 200 labs here in Atlanta for the biggest health system in Georgia, WellStar. So I do that during the day, and I tie that to the stock market because it's just you got to understand how a business runs. So I bring that information to FSW, and I try to teach that to my clients. So once we started, I got back here, and then this is how good God is. Right when we start kicking off, COVID happened. So the business was booming. I was like, we about to take off. COVID happened, everything stops. So in 2020, we had to shift our focus, and so we had to do more stuff online. Now, naturally, I'm not a social media person by any means, but then it was forcing me to say, if you really want to know this, you got to be able to teach. So for every Friday, for probably about from 2020 to probably 2021, I did a free class every Friday night, and that's how I started connect with people. I connected with Terry, and then I start talking to Terry. We did some training sessions, and I saw the value in it. But as a business, I wasn't ready to scale it because
Yeah.
I still had to build um, that winning philosophy. Because when you're talking about money, you know, it's hard to get people to spend money, especially on
Yeah.
something that they can't see and touch. So,
Yeah.
that was something. And then now we got a great program that, and how we start, me and Terry started talking about this. I had to call Terry and said something. I don't know if this is too early, but I said, Terry, why don't the church teach us about investing? I said, they've been teaching me, I've been paying tithes my whole life. I know how to do that, And so then I was telling him about the church I go here, and I'm not going to say the name, but it's a lovely church. But they always talk about prosperity, and if you pay your tithes and offering, I'm like, is there something else? Teach me how to navigate life. Teach me how to invest and trade, because I give you 10%, and I look at my tithe statement. My 10% is a lot annually. So I'm like, but teach me something else, how to build this thing to pass on stuff to my kids. So this is how
Yeah.
this conversation started. And then
Hey,
Terry was
Mike,
doing
let me.
this series already.
I'm gonna stop you just for 1 second
But
for two things. First of all, number one, I know somebody probably about ready to choke you out, which you keep calling me by my first name. First of all,
oh, oh, I'm
no, no, no,
sorry,
no,
Chief.
no, 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 no. This is my guy. We go all the way back. City Church, calm down. This is family. All right. I'm just messing. This is family. We all good. Second thing, Mike. All right.
Talk to me.
Gather
Talk to
yourself.
me, T.
Gather yourself, Mike. This I'm going a little left. We
Talk
got
to
to
me.
do this. So we got this Tyreek Hill thing.
Ooh.
Today I was watching First Take and I saw Stephen A. Smith and Shannon
Mm-hmm.
Sharp. and Dominique Foxworth. They had an incredible conversation as African American men agreeing to disagree on perspective, all this type of stuff. There's just so much that, especially as African American men, African American
Hmm.
people, and to be honest, people at large, there's just so much we're going through right now. You said in less than a minute, 2 minutes apart, in one word, you're telling your wife, stick with me, I'm going to retire you. A sentence or two later, you're moving in with her parents.
Mm.
So I cannot, black man to black man, I
See,
can't let you run by that
see.
without saying something to my brothers who sometimes, man, the pain and the pressure of being a man, a male, an African American male. I
Mhm.
just needed you to take 45 seconds and just speak to that, like the humility.
Oh
What
God, see.
what did that rob you of? I mean, we see you now. I see you now. Oh, that's beautiful. Give us that moment just for a second.
When I tell you that was the worst, because you know me, I don't like to depend on nobody. And as a man, God humbled me. He was like, "You got to go ask this man, can you stay with him?" And I said, so I asked him, can we stay for 3 months? But then y'all know how to trying to get a house. I think y'all had a session on that. It took me 6 months to get my crib because they was like, you don't got no check stuff. You don't got no, remember, I stayed in military housing for almost 15 years. So when I
Yeah,
was in his house, it was like coming under somebody else's rule. I got to be in the house at a certain time. And I was like, so it made me want it even more. So then what happened to me, I cut out everything. No social media, no playing video games, no basketball, none of that. I focus on finances. And when I tell people, some people say I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a thousandaire, but you got to have the will to match the desire, to match the effort because sometimes I didn't want to get up. I mean, remember, I almost died, and 3 months ago, and I'm still dealing with blood clots. I couldn't barely breathe. I couldn't do this. In 2018, I couldn't talk to you right now because I'd be out of breath. So,
yeah,
but nobody cares. And then
yeah,
the first day, and I was gonna say the first day, and you said about Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to enroll my babies into school. I'm in the car. The police officer comes and stops me. What are you doing? I said, what do you mean? I remember where I was because I'm from North Carolina and I know how the South get down. And remember, Washington State was different. So when I got here, I was like, I'm just trying to enroll my babies. What are you doing in the car with these kids? Well, my wife is in there because I can't breathe. It's so hot in Georgia. Jesus Christ. It was crazy coming back from Washington State where it's 70,
yeah,
then you come in here, it's 100 degrees. So that entire experience, moving back in with the parents, but this would hit me. Now, this is why I want your audience to know. Sometimes you may have to see it, take a few steps back so you can actually see the path that God wants you to take. So right now, I was about to deploy and go to Afghanistan, and then I got hurt. If I would have deployed, I'm just gonna put it out there, family. I mean, we all from Goldsboro. If I would have deployed, I probably wouldn't have been married to my wife because it would that distance and I would have went all the way into the military because the military is I don't know if anybody military they always tell you we want you to have a wife we would issue it to you and I was one of the best
wow,
soldiers. I was one of the best soldiers you can ever imagine in the service because I knew my response. I knew my role, but all of that was stripped from me. Then I had to move back in with her parents. Now I love her daddy to death, but he's an old airborne soldier and it's like it's everything and then if you ever go back to your daddy's house and he got a good wife, she's going to take care of that man. So I'm in there looking at them, taking care of like I gotta get my own stuff, eating cereal, they drinking all the milk. I said I gotta get out of here. So when I tell y'all that humble me now, and when I tell folk, the first thing you got to do is you got to have home ownership. You always got to have somewhere to go and lay your head. So I'm glad that y'all had time to. And I actually watched the feed, and they had some
yes,
great stuff. And that's a part of being an investment in your future as well.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but Terry, I'm telling you,
Mike,
man, if you got anybody in your church got to move back in there with parents, I need you to pray for them right now and tell them to for strength. I tell you, because I had it.
man, through that, so COVID hits. What's this?
Yep,
2020,
2020.
and everything's online, and many of us are home. And it's like, while I'm here, I need to learn something. I need to grow. And I remember somehow or another, we ended up reconnecting. And I'm like, yo, I'm really looking at the stock market stuff. Like, I need to
Hmm.
grow in this area, et cetera. And that was when you introduced, your business to me.
Yep.
And in that COVID period, we worked through our class stuff. You gave me the instruction. Um, I mean, you taught me how to read the charts and the graphs and to make the plays.
Yep.
Um, what was it? That might have been, was it a month, 30 days?
Yep.
And in 30 days, hey, we made some good stuff happen.
You
So
did.
if you're talking about especially um, underexposed people, how
Hmm.
would you explain the approach to the stock market? What is the stock market? How can common people use the stock market? How would you explain that to almost a commoner?
So I would say I don't know if everybody is using Apple products or Android, but you have the App Store. So the stock market is just like the App Store, it's just a collection of stocks that want your business. So you have to, you can download an app. Sometimes that app may, is free, or you may have to, pay some extra money, but you have a choice of who you select, just like the stock market. So the first order of business I tell my clients is that you got to understand what you want from the market. So some people say, I just need a app to play a game with. You're going to search for game apps. Some people say, hey, I need an app to, you know, uh, read or record me so I can take notes and then transcribe it. You look for that. Stock market is the same way. Some people say, I want money now. There's stocks for that, and there's screeners that you can set to make money now. Some people say, I want money to pass on to my kids. You only got to buy three stocks: Pepsi, Microsoft, and JP Morgan Chase, which we go into detail once you get in the plugged into us. So there's so many things that you can do. But first, the individual that's going to be trading and investing, they got to know what they want out of it. So a lot of times, and this is what the the people with the stock market happen. It's really faddish. Um, it's like, oh, everybody go to Tesla. They go to Tesla. Everybody buy Tesla. Everybody jumped in Nvidia. Then everybody just keep jumping back and forth, and you're never really making real money, because when you jumping, the people who been in it, they already made all the money. So they will flood your social media. They will flood Instagram. They will flood YouTube. They will flood all that stuff to get you hyped up. Then you go in and sell, kind of like that Popeyes chicken. I was telling people when that Popeye chicken hit, the line was wrapped around the building. Now, the people who made the money was the people who was owning that franchise, and from years ago when Popeyes wasn't nothing. Y'all elevated all of that money into them, and that they made millions and billions of dollars. And the only thing we did was run up our blood pressure, our cholesterol. Now we, fighting diabetes and all that stuff. But we made somebody else rich. So when I start learning that, I said, hey, why am I spending all my money? Why am I going out like this hoodie I got on? I would go, I love sweatshirts if you know me. I would go buy a Nike hoodie, $60, $70, get the whole set now, a buck 50. I walk away with nothing. Nike stock is at an all-time low, 78, 80 bucks. I could have bought 2 shares of that, held that, made double my money, and went and bought 5 of these. And this is my own product. So when I start shifting my mindset, I understood what I'm looking at when I go to the stock market. Now, for your audience and for your church, when you go to the stock market, society, the people who are making the money, they wanted to make it seem like it's so hard. And I kind of tell people it's like picking up the Bible. You don't pick up the Bible and read it through and through and think you're gonna learn it. You gotta study that thing. And then what they do, then you gotta get canceled. So when I come into the stock market, I have to understand, what do you want from the market. And once I understand that, and I tell people, you can say whatever you want with your mouth, but what's in your heart is going to show. Because if you want to be a millionaire and in your heart you can't take care of $1,000, why would anybody, especially why would and you mentioned it, why would the father allow you to get all that money and you're gonna mess it right up? So you
Yeah.
got to be a good steward of the few dollars you have, and then when you see it multiply, you're gonna keep planting that seed in the right soil for it to grow
Yeah.
and invest and pass on.
So I'm gonna give us a scenario, and I want you to the best of your ability to first of all, don't raise that cup one more time.
Hey,
Not
I
on.
did it on listen, I did it on purpose because I know that I'm a Duke fan. If you know me, I love Duke. And all
Yeah,
you
don't
Carolina Tar Heels down there.
don't
Hmm.
do that again, sir. Don't do that again. We're gonna lose our connection. You keep playing with me. So I'm gonna just give you a general scenario, and you kind of
Hmm.
explain this to us. Let's say
Okay.
hypothetically, I had $1,000,
$1,000.
and I were to invest that $1,000 10 years ago into Apple,
Okay.
Amazon, Google. I'll let you pick.
Okay.
10 years ago, I invest $1,000 in one of those major companies. What am I kind of? I think sometimes when we think of stock market, we think of all these crazy fast movies where you're seeing a lot of day trading, and that's a whole different animal. But we're
Hmm.
talking a bit more about essentially for us, not as much of a risky trading situation, but doing what I can to multiply my money reasonably safely. So, had I given you 1,000, Google, Amazon, Apple, I'll let you pick. 10 years ago, what could I be looking at today in that situation?
I like that. So I'm gonna do one better. All right. So say 1999 was probably the greatest year to be in, to be alive, because we graduated from high school and we moved on. Say let's take Apple. Let's take Apple. Apple I'll if you know me, I always have the stock market up on all my devices. Just like some people have Instagram, Facebook. You talk to me, I can go to a stock. So Apple in 1999, in let's say May when we graduated, 1999, it closed at 41 cents. 41 cents. So say remember when graduation, you had everybody was going to graduation party. I know I got $1,000 for this, just whatever, and I know I blew it because if y'all know my brother Earl, Earl the Pearl and Gabe Martin and BJ and Ryan and everybody, they was tearing it up, right? So I took my $1,000. The next day I went to King's Dominion to celebrate, spent everything. So if I would have took that $1,000 and put it all on Apple, and at 33 cents,
Or you
I would
said
have got a
33 cent, 33
33
cent?
33 cent in 1999. If we had this conversation in 1999, we would have got 999.67 shares of Apple for 33 cents. Kept it to
Mm,
this day. Apple closed today. It closed today at a whopping $220. So you would just times that by 220, you would have right now from 1999 $219,000. That's with no dividend payments. And that's with just giving somebody money that they gave you. And I always tell people, you're looking at it now, but that's how the rich stay wealthy. And then when you tell people like, hey, do it now, and they say, they don't got time. But no man know his hour. But if
yeah,
you want to live and thrive, and then pass something on to your children. And then if it's not the money, it's just the knowledge because look at the young people today. We're all doing the same thing.
yeah,
Look at my kids. I got three
yeah,
kids. I got a 13, an 11, and an 8-year-old. They own
yeah,
their phones now, their tablets. But Mike,
yeah.
if I told Mikey to come to bed, but anybody who know me, they know who little Mikey is because he will come in and say, "Are you buying stocks today?" He's gonna ask you about Pepsi.
Yeah,
So we gotta teach them. But in 1999, and everybody remember 1999. You could have spent that $1,000, that graduation money, bought almost 1,000 shares of Apple, and you could have
right.
been $250,000 up today.
So listen now, We just gave that example. That was 1999. It's 2024. That's 25 years.
Yep.
So the picture I want to paint
Mm-hmm.
is, what if after giving birth to a child,
Ooh.
instead of going buying all the fancy shoes and the technology and all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
what if we, upon birth, invested $1,000 into the best possible company we can consider at birth? What could we possibly give to our children at their high school graduation, at their college? Listen, 25 years, that's a house.
Let me tell you this, Terry. So, and I'm reading a book now. It's called Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. So what you just said makes sense, but it's not in our DNA. We're
Yeah.
not wired for that. So it makes sense with me and you sitting here talking when we go back, because we always, I hate to say the Black and brown community, we always lived in the past. So that's part of society to make us think about the past, so we never think about the future. Our future is, I'm gonna die and I'm gonna go to heaven and I'm gonna get all the riches in the world. Ain't nothing wrong with that belief. But I'm like, why can't I have it here on earth? So my thing is
Mhm.
this: if God is my father, He got everything. I got kids now. My kids come to me for everything. Daddy, I just took my son to the book fair. $40 for 2 books, Terry. I'm sorry, PT. That's not right. But that's what it is. But I'm gonna give my child what his heart desires. Because
Yeah.
it's in my heart. That's who I am. So
Yeah.
if your heart is right,
Yeah.
when you make that statement, you got to change your paradigm, because the first thing people do in the morning is what? They look at their phone. You probably hit snooze one time because you're like, I'm gonna sleep extra 5 minutes, like that's gonna do something to your well-being. It's not. I tell my wife today, she gets mad at me. Why you always get up at 3 a.m.? Because I gotta get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if anybody in the chat has almost died. It's not pretty to hear your bed number come up on the big screen that they coming to get you. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you may not be here tomorrow. That's gonna do
Yeah.
something to your paradigm and your set of beliefs. That's gonna shake you up. So
Yeah.
what shook me up now, when you say that, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Because I know now that if I'm gonna change, you gotta have your heart right and you gotta have the will. All that stuff gotta line up. Most people
Yeah.
say this, and you know how I know Juliet, Lady J had you out there working out for a season. I don't know if you're still doing it, but I know
All that.
I know, and the little Pender, he's I think he in the WWE, how big that joke is. But anyway, but you got to condition and you got to have the will set to do it, because sometimes you start and when it gets hard, you stop.
Mhm.
Now I had a client in Texas right now, and I'm gonna tell you this story. She started off real good, and I told her, I said, you might need to build an emergency fund, just have something on the side, because as soon as life hits, when the Lord knows you trying to do something right, the devil gonna come. The devil got power too. In 3 days, her car break down. First thing she said, "Can I cash out some stocks?" I said, "No, you got to leave that in there." I said, because when you do it, you got to look at your budget. I know y'all talking about budget and stuff. You got to know where your money's coming from. So I always tell people, just put $1 over there. So until
Mhm.
you change your set of beliefs and that paradigm has to shift, then you change your life. Because if I gave you $1 for the rest of your life, you started buying Apple at 33 cents and you buying it 2-3 shares $1. You don't care where it end up, because you already got 10,000, 20,000 shares that first decade. And that's
Yeah.
how the rich get richer. And so when you start learning about this, man, it's going to change your life. So now when you have that set of beliefs, when you have a child, that should be the first thing you do. And then you tell people, this is what we do. I'm gonna talk about Goldsboro for a second. Now I love Goldsboro, but this is what we do. We want to invite everybody over there. You can go to, what is it, Wilbur's Barbecue, or what's the barbecue over there place? Or McCall's Chicken.
McCall.
You can go to McCall's Chicken and you gonna get that family size special with the gallon of sweet tea, and you're gonna bring it back to the house. You're gonna invite everybody from your family and your church. They're gonna hand you envelopes. Hand you envelopes. Soon as that money hit, you're gonna go and pay something from the past. It's gonna be an old debt or something. You're not gonna invest in your future. So then I try to tell people, and that's the culture that we have
Mhm.
set. So when we have kids, that's what we do. Think
Yeah.
about the stuff that you're doing right now with your money. Who taught it to you?
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, I love my mama to death. And if y'all know, we call my mama Blaze. If y'all know her, y'all know why we call her Blaze, because she's always fussing. But I love her to death. Sh You know, she was, our parents were supposed to teach us to be good financial stewards. Now, but did they really go into a deep dive on taking money and put it in the stock market? And sometimes I look at the culture, I always tell people you got to look at decade to decade of how people live their lives. Their decade was, they're coming out of the 60s and 70s, and that they want that status. Look at me. I got a nice car. My all my kids went to college. So some of us was the first ones to go to college in our families and graduate. So that was their notch. So now it's time for us to take it to another level. And I think we
Yeah.
can do that together.
Yeah. I love that, man. When we got together and you walked me through the course, and I learned so much. And there are a couple partners of the city church who I've engaged in some conversation with, and when they would ask me, I would always reference you, and I'll say her name because I know she gonna she gonna lose it when I say it. I know Miss Delois. She was linked up with you doing a lot of good work,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you were helping her out quite a bit. But
Yes.
there's so much more that we can accomplish and be doing. So whether kind of long term or day trading more quick, sometimes penny trading.
Mhm.
We're not talking risky business.
Mm-mm.
So okay, let's do it like this, Mike.
Okay.
You take $1,000,
1,000
you put
bucks.
it in your savings account.
Mm-mm.
You take $1,000 and you put it in the market.
Mhm.
What is the difference between putting it in a savings account and put now I'm not telling nobody to
Mhm.
empty out your entire savings and push it out. That is not what I'm saying. But I
Mhm.
want to help you see more clearly what these options are and what you can potentially expect. So, what are we looking at between the difference of putting my money for a year in the
Mhm.
market or putting my money for a year in savings? What's the difference?
So, and I always tell people, everybody's doing the same thing. It's just how much of the return that you want out of it. So and I always tell people and teach people how to become your own bank, how to become your own business. Because once you understand how they pool money together and pool resources, you're going to be able to make better decisions with your money. So if you
Yeah,
put that $1,000 in the bank, say if everybody on this chat tonight, we gave our bank $1,000, that bank is going to go out and 10x, 20x, 50x that money, and then give you $30 for the year or whatever the interest rate is, depending on what the feds do with the basis rate and all that stuff. That impacts everything. Or you can
yeah,
say, hey, I can do what the bank do. The bank is doing. I just got to educate myself a little bit. Let me say, okay, you could bank with JP Morgan Chase. How much is JP Morgan Chase stocks? It's I think like $200. A little bit high right now, but hey, I can go buy 5 shares of that, and then your bank is going to try to make their value, their market share increase. So when they increase, I own a thousand of a percent of you. So if you
mhm,
grow, I'm not waiting for you to give me a little breadcrumb by me just holding my money in there. No, I want to go to the source. I want to be a part of your bank. So now when you grow, we grow, and I can take my money out anytime I want. So that's the teaching that we have. Oh, people say, well, I got 10,000 in my savings account. Okay, that's fine. What are you using it for? Is it an emergency fund? That's different. Then you want to add that in there. But with me, I'm not giving, this is just what I do. I increase my cash flow. So I got money coming in on Monday, Friday, and Monday, Thursday, and Friday every week, as long as I keep doing what I'm doing. So now when I know that I need money, I know the date, the time. So I tell T, I say, okay, we plan around the cash flow. So if you want to, work with with the savings, I would say keep a minimum amount in savings, but work on your cash flow. How's your money moving in and out of your business, which is your household? And if you fix that, Now, if something happens that's an emergency or you need to go on a trip, your cash flow is right and you have positive cash flow. A lot of people, when I talk about cash flow, once we do a deep dive, your cash flow is negative. That's why you never can seem like you can get over the hump. That's why when you put that $1,000 in savings, it's like a sense of accomplishment because you can look at it and you can actually touch it. But I tell folk, and I tell people that come into us, you want to be able to see passive income coming from multiple sources. One of them sources may be a savings account, but that's more of emergency, life, limb, and eyesight. Somebody, getting in a major car accident. I gotta go do something today, and I can't wait for the market to open so I can move money. I gotta do something today, life, limb, and eyesight type stuff. So I tell people, some people are old school. Some people will die with millions of dollars in a savings account, and now and then you have people fighting for your estate once you pass. I tell folk, if they continue to get after it, you're never going to put your money in nothing else but the stock market. Maybe some crypto, and that's another discussion as well.
Whole nother discussion.
Whole
So
nother discussion.
if we when I connected with you, when we went through your course, we're talking 30 days. I think we might have
Mhm.
met once a week for
Yep.
30, 60 minutes.
Right.
I had things to work on while we were working and learning together.
Hmm.
And at the conclusion of that 30 days, even to this day, every week, with the program I'm in, every week I receive a investing guide from you.
Correct.
You're teaching me how to read the charts. You're teaching me how to read the graphs. And when I say charts and graphs, it is projecting how things are going to move and shape on the market. And
Absolutely.
that's basically how you manage the market by seeing the projections so you can move and shape. Am I doing okay? Am I making you look good right now?
Hey, hey, yeah, I'm loving. Hey,
So,
hey, hey. I was about to call you T Love. That's what you was in right now, like T Love. That was his nickname back in the OE Dub. Call him T Love.
oh man.
And listen, I'm looking at you. I'm like, yeah, keep going. Hey, keep. I'm like,
So,
man,
like,
this
this
stuff is good.
is, I say that to say, this was we started close to well, yeah, 4 years ago. That would have been
Yep.
like, anyway, about 4 years ago. So, till this day, every week, when you send out recommendations based on charts and projections, this is what I'm seeing. Here are some options of how you can move money and things like that through the course of this week relative to the stock market. So I'm communicating all of that because through working through your plan, and there's so many more options. You're not
Yep.
the only option. You're the one I know and the one that I trust. That's why you're here tonight. But you do this every week. So it's not like I'm going to go through a course and he just leaves me out there by myself. Just kind of
Mhm.
talk about that just a little bit, what that looks like being in your program and what people can expect.
Mhm. So when we started, you know, our CFO, I was like, hey man, I got to get this to the people. He was like, he's all about we got to charge, we got to charge. And I told him, I said, no, I just want to give them the information because the way I want to, do it, I want to make my clients as much money as possible so we can do more things as a group. So, I want them to meet my real estate lawyer that's in Raleigh, North Carolina. I want them to meet everybody I got, and then I can come in and say, "Hey, there's $1 million deal over here. Everybody sell your Pepsi stock. Everybody with me sell their Pepsi stock. We give it to the lawyer. He brokered the deal. Now your Pepsi that you had, 10,000 in, we pull it together. Now that 10 just turned to 20 in one deal. So when I came across that, he's a real estate lawyer for his law firm, and as talking to him, and he's my frat brother as well. So I said, hey man, what are y'all doing? I said, why you always go down to another country? He said, I'm doing deals. I said, how can? He said, nope, you got to get your mind right first. But this was about a decade ago. So then I said, what I need to do? He said, you got to be able to generate income off without using your 9 to 5 job. And I was like, oh, okay. So then that sparked me. So I had a goal. So when you come into our network, the first pillar is family. It's not just blood related. Me and Terry, we're not related by blood, but he's family. So that's a connection. So so when they come in, I say, okay, now the thing we have to do is connect everybody on a true that I want to see you succeed. And and this is another knock on the company because people want us to market more, and I refuse to market because I want the connection. I want someone to tell you about us. They refer you to me in our company, then we build. So now when you go back to the person referred you, you be like, why didn't you tell me about this, months ago? And they're gonna say you wasn't ready. I tried to tell you, but you wasn't ready to receive it. So this is
So basically,
us shifting the
basically,
paradigm.
basically, what you're saying is, I mean, people not just gonna find you out anywhere,
Oh,
pushing
absolutely
cards,
not.
trying to
No,
build clientele.
no.
You're only, for the most part, recommendation, word of mouth.
Bingo. So our network is about 400 people, right? And all those 400 people are connected to somewhere. It's like a tree. You remember that little thing that was going on when they was like, you give $10, then somebody else get 10, then in 4 weeks you're gonna get 1,000. I was like, and when I saw it, I said, this is the dumbest thing ever. But
Yeah,
I look at everything as an opportunity. I said, well, what if I do that with knowledge and education? So then it may not happen for you the days you're with me, but you probably going to refer me to somebody because within that 30 days, you're going to have a win. So now you're going to go talk about it. Then you're going to continue to connect. Then in your
yeah,
natural ecosystem, you're going to start talking about stock market. You're going to talk about
yeah,
investing. You're going to talk about doing better things with your money. And that's what we desire here, the company that we're running.
yeah. So let me pause here and parenthetically insert, because this is extremely important to me.
Hmm.
Um, City Church, like, we're not talking, this is no get rich quick, no pyramid scheme type of stuff. I would never. That's one of my that's one of my things. I would never
Right.
introduce anything like that to the city church. So whatever, this ain't that. We
Right.
are merely talking about an opportunity to possibly over the course of a month be directly coached on understanding the market, how to move and shake through the market, how to work principles, and possibly continuing a lifelong relationship to walk side by side as you go through this together.
Absolutely.
Let's make sure we throw the pyramid scheme never, not at the
Hmm.
city church,
Yep.
never. So that ain't what this is. We're only talking about being educated and positioning you to employ yourself to maximize everything that God has graced in your hand. So,
Hmm.
man, I am excited, Mike, because
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm excited because I believe in this. I'm excited because I know you, I trust you. I've gone through your program, and I know what you did for me and my family. Let's
Mhm.
pause. Every situation, you've had over hundreds of clients.
Yep.
No situation is identical. But
Mhm.
I would love for you to share one of your most memorable success stories that you've had working with a client who chose to work the principles. I'd love to hear
Mhm.
one success story.
So one success story, his name was Christopher Tyson. I knew him in college. So, and he told me I can share this story with him. Sometimes he comes on and says himself. So the day he graduated, he went to a Q Dog party in Greenville. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He's supposed to fly out to Vegas the next day. Somebody kicks in the door because somebody at the party was, girlfriend and boyfriend stuff. They shoot up the party. He gets shots like 3, 4 times. He can no longer walk. So
Mm,
now when he gets this, when I reach back out to him, he said, "What are you doing, man?" I said, "Look, man, I want to teach you about the stock market." He had a CD CD account, and he said he had like 3,000. I said, man, get that out of there right now, and let me come on here and show you some stuff. So we placed some a trade on Fuel Cell, right? Fuel Cell at the time, and we did some option contracts and stuff. It was during 2020, during that period, and Biden won the election. So this is why this election is very serious when you're looking at the trade. So Fuel Cell is a carbon capture stock, right? He won. It went through through the roof. We made, I think, us together as a collective, we probably pulled in about $30,000 in the month of January. He cashed out. I never saw him again. But the thing is, now he uses the site. So he just hit
Mhm.
me today. We're talking about charge point because he knows now it's another election cycle. So he got more stuff that he got to deal with his physical, right?
Mhm.
He comes in now strategically because he knows when there's a big shift in the U.S. economy. So you look at that S&P 500, and what's the biggest shift that's about to happen in 2 months? A new election. And then now people are looking at it. So we made that much money. So guess what stocks we're buying now? Fuel Cell. You rinse and repeat. It's the same process. So now when you start seeing, like Terry mentioned, I give out all the stocks for free every month. It goes on the website. Now you can go to the website and look at it, but if you don't have a warm and fuzzy what you're looking at, it's just a bunch of acronyms that's on the page. But I tell folk, and I may start back doing that every Friday night, just talking about the stock market for whoever come. I don't care if it's one or 1,000. I just need one. I just
Mhm.
need one, and we talk about it. So we won then. So then, now that I see people, I changed my strategy. Those single wins are good. I want sustained wins. I want to win every month, make about three grand. We got stuff, that we do and teach that we want you to look at your life in decades. And that's, you look at your like in decade, those losses, those short-term losses don't matter. You just want to be in good stocks. And that's called durable and competitive advantage. You want to be in stocks and invest in stocks that's going to be here. Coca-Cola, a good durable competitive advantage. Think about it, you've been drinking that same Coke product for how many years? It's the same taste, the bottle's still the same, the logo's still the same, and it's a good stock. It pays a dividend, a great dividend. You want to look at companies that have a low cost for products. That's the Walmart. Everybody goes to Walmart. Walmart shot up to $70 from 50. It's probably gonna be $100 come holiday season. These are the things that the common person is not looking at, but they're wondering why. People. You hear people retiring early. And then the people that they're following on social media, they want you to come in and like all that stuff and keep you in and trapped in that mindset of why it can't be me because it's the stock market is too hard. So with our platform, we try to take out uh the pain of you trying to find the stocks. We're serving them up to you every month, and it's different strategies. And each column is, you got swing trades, you got double bottom patterns, you got cryptocurrency, you got option plays. We even got it where a lot of people like sales. The stocks that has been performing over the last quarter, that's lower than 7%. So when you buying them, you buy them at the right price on the entry. So now another 3-4 months later, they're already up. So it's just little stuff that we try to provide to make it easier for you while you're learning it. Because our goal is while you're learning it, is we giving you stuff so you can have these small wins, because it's all about the small wins, and then
Yeah.
the longevity comes with just you changing the way you see things.
So we're gonna get ready to kind of swing this in. I'm gonna throw this one last thought idea.
Okay.
I'm just using me for example. I got my iPhone right here.
Okay.
I am on my MacBook. My iPad is over here in my book bag. But I'm not studying the stock market. Leave that mess alone. That's for somebody else. What would you say to an individual who is so heavily invested in
Mhm.
products who
Mhm.
isn't benefiting on the back end from a bit of an ownership perspective
Right.
by being invested in these companies by way of the stock market?
I would just tell people, if for those people we come in contact with, we just say buy three stocks: J.P. Morgan, Microsoft, and Pepsi. Those three stocks are going to give you a dividend every month, and they normally double or triple every decade. So with that in itself, you're good. I think that the lowest dividend payment is Microsoft, and the other two give me a dollar plus dividend every quarter. So every month, your money is gonna your holding that position is gonna make you money, and then the intrinsic value of those stocks are gonna increase. So we tell people while you are learning, just buy those three, and just and you don't have to come in with a bunch of money. Just $1 a day. On can $3 can people can afford $15 a week. You can go to I can go to Chick-fil-A and everybody upsize their meal. I'm down $100. So it's just little stuff. You got to change how you move. And then after a while, when you start seeing that money, man, I only put $1 a day and I'm already up a few $100 here. Or they have some good news. Apple saying they're gonna have the AI phone, so that stock should go through the roof. But you need China for Apple to survive because you need those billion plus people over there to buy the new iPhone. And that's all where you have to. If you're going to use social media, and I know we got to go. If you're going to use social media, follow the stocks that you want to buy. Don't follow, Kim Kardashian or whoever. Follow the stocks that you're going to buy so you can get plugged into what they're doing. Because some of them are actually, and someone said, "Are you ever too old to learn this?" I'm gonna tell you this right now. Who's that, Kathy Drew? I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you said that. I just had a client last night, just retired, and she said, "I wish I would have learned this as I was putting away money." And doing her retirement. So then I said, okay, well, are you gonna die tomorrow? You can live another 30 years, and that's what we gotta see. It's the time horizon is how you become wealthy. Now, of course, you can go to Vegas and play blackjack. I love it, and you can hit and you can win. There's other ways you can do it, but it's the sustained wins. So when I tell the third one, J.P. Morgan and Microsoft was the third one, but you're never too old to learn. And then the thing about it is, that's wisdom.
Yeah.
And you have to have and Tia told me this, and Tia's my wife. She told me this yesterday. She said one of the most attractive things about you is you're so smart. I was like, that's it? That's all you got for me? But then she was like, she said, I like that how you always, and she always listened to me talk. She's probably upstairs listening. She probably not acting like she ain't paying attention, but she's gonna come down here and critique me on everything I said wrong. But she was like, she finds it the value of you learn something to be able to teach it. And that's what we got to do for our community. We got to be able to learn. That's why everybody love going to church, because PT, he actually giving you stuff that makes your heart feel something, and then you want to go back. And that's the thing that the passion about it, that everybody got to understand. If you really want this, I will commit to you to make sure everything that I know and everything that I don't know, we can learn together, and then
Yeah.
pass this on to our children.
So again, I want to be crystal clear, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know how much I love you, how much I love the City Church, how much I love God and the sanctity and the purity of our relationship. No get rich quick pyramid, never. Not at the City Church.
Mhm.
This is nothing more than a simple opportunity to raise your awareness on ways that you could further maximize your money, not just making it, but what if you were able to multiply what you are making? So we're talking about setting up something for the future, increasing your retirement, being able to leave even more, to your children and generations thereafter. So that's really, really important to me. Mike, in just a minute, your information is going to go into the comments for anybody who wants to connect. They're going to be able to go to your site. They'll be able to go to that contact tab on your site, and they could shoot you something, whatever the case might be. If there's someone who might be listening and they're like, yo, I might connect with my guy and kind of see what would next steps look like. What would this continued relationship look like for anyone who were to be interested? And do know, ladies and gentlemen, Mike is not the only option. There are tons of people that you can find on YouTube, on TikTok, I mean, honestly, even with him, I watch a number of other people too, but he's the one I know. He's the one I trust. So there are tons of other options. This isn't a move to move you to my guy. I
Correct.
just wouldn't bring anybody in front of you because I trust him. I love him. And I know likewise, I feel comfortable enough by allowing him to be in front of you. So, what would a relationship look like, Mike, going further? What could they expect if they were to reach out to you?
So first thing, like I stated earlier, you reach out. You have to say that you was a part of this event tonight, because we just don't accept anybody, because we got to have a connection. I got to have a connection because you will be in my life as well. You'll see my kids running around in the back. You hear my dog Cookie barking sometimes during our calls. So I got to be comfortable with you, and it can't be gimmicky. If you come in and the first thing I tell you, you got to pay your tithes, and you be like, I ain't doing that. I'm like, well, it's not for me, because I know that if you don't do that first, there's nothing I can tell you for you to be successful in life. Some people don't believe in that, but and I mentioned my tithe statement. I do it, and I'm like, Tia, we made that much money. What? But I'm a faithful giver. Because if you look at any billionaire, millionaire, at the end of their life, they give it all away. So when I tell y'all this, if you're not paying your tithes, it's probably not gonna be a connection for me, because there's some things that you're not gonna understand about the money piece. You got to be willing. It can't be what you holding on to. You got to be like, hey, I'm gonna plant the seed and watch it grow. And I will refer you to some other people. There's a bunch of people down here in the city in Atlanta that would love to teach you that and don't have to know church ties. And that's something my mama always taught me, to pay your tithes and offering. So once we get through that, we do initial intake. So when we do our intake, it's just me just teaching you some stuff. I'll show you some stuff that we talk about, and it's going to be like a deer in the headlights. Then I say, well, what can you start with? Can you commit to $1 a day? Some people say, Mike, dang, nothing. I said, remember, the first thing we got to do is change how you think about money. And we do it. I can't tell you to drop 10,000. I wish Dolores was up here, D, and she'll tell you. Now we talk these conversations. She's she's telling me what to do. I'm like, okay, good. But now that our conversations are different now, because she understands how the market moves. You have access to FSW 24/7. I tell people, when you get connected with us, I go to bed at 10 p.m. I wake up at 3. If I'm asleep, I cannot get back to you. But any other time of that, I'm always available to you. Now, once you start, you know, I tell people you got to be active in the morning while the Asian markets are opening. My team, we wake up and we start looking at the market so we can start preparing the team that's under our coaching, how to do it. So by the time you wake up and start your day, you have stuff in your text message, in your inbox, of the positions you need to play. So we try to, everybody has this device. So we try to be mobile enough so as you are interacting your day to day life, it's no disruption. You have to commit to the session, a Zoom session, every, depending on the subscription that you have. And I don't allow new clients to come in and buy anything. Like, some people wants the master class. I don't allow you to do the master class, because I'm like, it's a waste of your money, because the master class, I don't, for lack of better words, I talk at a level that you are making trades. That's kind of like, everybody think they can go to the NBA. No, you can't. Just, you might be a good high school, college basketball player, but as you're moving money, you gotta, move differently. So as we walk and talk, it's more of a journey, because my goal is it's not about the money for me. Pretty much the money is just for time, because I have to stop what I'm doing and sit in front of a Zoom call. And that's, with me, I'm a consultant. So I have to be out with my labs. So when I come here, I focus on you. And a lot of the questions that we have, and I share this with the team, is they think they can't do it. And I never understood that, the doubt and fear. And I always tell people that got to be the devil. Because if you're empowered, why are you fearing stuff? And I'm like, and if I'm telling you, and maybe y'all can help me in the chat. if I'm telling you this is working for everybody that I coach, and then it's like a tug of war, and then that's when like it's just the doubt and fear that you have inside of you, and a lot of the stuff is just building that relationship and trust, and then after that, the sky's the limit. I believe everybody, this is the point in your life financially that you can say, hey, I remember when I said on this PT call, and I bought those three stocks, and I've just committed to a dollar for the rest of my life. You turn 60, 70, and you look back like, whoa, I wish I would have done more.
Yeah.
So, thanks
You
you, PT.
I don't know who can hear it, but if you can't tell, Mike got some apostolic Pentecostal holiness on
No,
the
don't do it now.
on the inside of him. He was
Saint
yeah,
James.
yeah. He
You know
was
what church that grew me.
you already know he was a staunch holiness. You understand? They want no games. Someone threw out this question: will this work from Canada?
Man, I have coached people Japan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Europe, Italy, everywhere. So alone, so you got to wait till the market opens to do the U.S. economy stocks, but you can trade, at on another exchange. So I only trade on the exchanges that are governed by the United States because once you get in there, it's a lot of you know I mean, it's high risk because you may have a penny stock that doesn't have to go through any type of trade commission, whatever. They just pop up there and you buy it, and they take all your money, and some people will make money. So I only trade technically with new investors from the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones and a little bit of the Nasdaq, and that's just a collection of stocks. Because I want you to be able to stay with these stocks because they have to meet certain requirements to be listed on those exchanges. So that's why I said, just stick with the meat and potatoes while you learn it, and then we can get some exotic stocks, buy some penny stocks, do some trading once your account gets to over 25,000. Now, when I say when I'm sorry, Tay, but I gotta say this, and I wish D was up here because once you start off talking, it's like a baby. You're feeding a baby. You only starting with applesauce. As the baby get teeth, as the baby get a new the microorganisms in their gut to break down the food, you can. My 8-year-old eats anything. He eats just like me. We ate rabbit last night, if you can believe it, and it was smothered with gravy, and it was good. But I'm saying that as you learn it, you can process more stuff. You just need time. And I don't understand it why we lose that time value. We've been on this. I turned 43 at the end of the month, right? And I can say I wish there's key points in my life where I should have went right, but I went left. But the Lord had mercy on me to put me back on the right path. But now I ain't trying to make no bad decisions. If it's not building this business, building this empire, miss me. I can't deal with it. I can't do it.
Yeah. That's Mr. Lois, by the way, giving you a shout out right there on screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss D. I always talk about you because I'm glad Terry connected us. Um,
Yeah,
but you truly has been inspirational to me on your journey, and I thank you.
yeah. I appreciate you, man, for being a safe place. Like I said, when I've talked with some individuals, and from how you helped me, I've been able to recommend you personally, and I've heard nothing but great things as I would expect, and that is the only reason you're here tonight because
Thank you,
you
sir.
you've earned that. So I appreciate you for being an
Thank you,
upright
sir.
brother, and
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. City Church, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was not a waste of time. Do me a favor before we get out of here. If you found value in this, hop in the comments for me one last time and show our guest some love. Just show him how much you appreciated him tonight, and how much value this came and was added to you. You should see your link in the comments a few times. Worst case is there on your screen. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I love him. I trust him. If I ever were to find anything else out, I'll let you know. But as I'm standing right now, 10 toes down, an upright brother, you're not going to have a situation where you got to give him your account number, let him manage none of that. We're basically basically, like I said, a few weeks worth of one-on-one consultation and being able to use that insight to follow the guide that he might would share with you, whether every few weeks um, or every month. I know till this day, sometimes mid-morning, lunchtime, I know you at work. I'm like, he gonna get fired. Shooting me text messages in the middle of the day. T, just to give you a heads up, this is what I'm seeing. You ought to consider this, 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 this. And this is outside of the general list. This is just building solid relationship and being
Absolutely.
good to people that are good to you. So if this is something you would have interest in going further, of course, if we have relationship, I'm always a resource to you. If you have a question, something we need to talk about, you can always ask me relative to his business, his company. Otherwise, you see that link. Find Mr. Lois as well. She can help you. I appreciate you, man. Is there anything you like to say, kind of lastly, as we transition out of here?
I love you, man. You always been a brother to me, brother from another mother. I'm proud of you. I know I don't have to say it. I'm so proud of you, Terry, man. I'm
Appreciate you.
Pastor T, Pastor T. Um, uh, and one last word to the group. Remember, change your paradigm, change your life. If you don't remember nothing I said today, change your paradigm, change your life. Change what you've been doing if you want another result. So y'all be blessed and thanks for having me.
We mentioned earlier his wife, who's also doing incredible things in the fitness world and the health world. I see her quite a bit on Instagram. She's top notch. Again, I wouldn't even mention that if I didn't trust her just the same. So you probably saw that information earlier. Feel free to go back to those comments, especially you ladies. She kind of focuses on ladies just in health and fitness, etc. She is a phenomenal example and a model of what it is to be a boss lady. So
Absolutely.
connect with her just the same. Mike, I appreciate you, man. I
Yes,
love
sir.
you with all my heart. I'm
Yes,
praying
sir.
over you and
Thank you, man.
everything that you touch. I love you. I love your family. And thank you for all you've done for me, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All
E
right.
Dub, class of 1999. You already know.
Yes, sir.
You
E-Dub.
already know. City
E-Dub.
Church, I love you. Until we meet again, the blessing of God be upon you. You guys have an incredible evening.
Have a good one.